Hi, I'm Nick Ruddle and welcome to the Profit Club Basics. Today we're breaking down the 5 ways business chassis that I teach and making sure that we're working through them in order. Now, if you haven't seen the 5 ways videos, please make sure you watch them from days 3 and 4 of week 4 of last week. Today, however, we're going to be on to the 4th stage of the 5, and that's working the number of transactions. Now, we work with margins first, conversion rate second, average sale third, and the number of transactions is the 4th most cost-effective way of building a business and to increase the profitability of your organisation. So let's take a look at the strategies that I use most often when I'm coaching business owners to get great results in their business. First and foremost, a database. Keeping a database of all your past customers, not only your past customers but past prospective customers, that's important as well, but a database of all your past customers, their buying habits, why do they buy, when did they buy it, how did they buy it, keeping details on them as much as you possibly can. This sort of information is vital for you in building a great business in your organization. Having a database is, well, how do I put it very bluntly? Your database really is the number one asset of the business. The number one asset of the business is a list of customers and a list of prospective customers that you have or have dealt with in the past. So make sure that you really keep it, and you've got to keep it up to date. Secondly, we've got to look at doing a newsletter or some sort of direct mail to continually ask people back. Look, if you go out and get a new customer and you don't keep communicating with them, in other words, you bring on a new customer and you don't write back to them, you don't ask them back, you don't send them a thank you card, you don't do any of that sort of stuff, then you've just wasted buying that new customer. No matter how good the service was, you're still not going to get, that full lifetime value because you're not asking them back proactively. And being reactive is only one way of running a business. My way is being proactive, and let's make sure that we're asking them back. So what's your newsletter? How often does it go out? It's got to be at least every 90 days, and a lot of people use internet newsletters. Personally, I prefer the printed newsletter and going back to that. And why? Well, because everyone's stopped doing it, haven't they? The internet is flooded with newsletters, and what happens when you get a piece of mail these days like that? It's quite of a novelty, isn't it? So here we are. We've got to make sure that we're sending either a direct mail piece or a newsletter or something of that nature to our customers or our prospective customers every 90 days, making sure that it goes out to all of them. Then what we've got to look at is a thing that I call a closed door sale. Now, a closed door sale works best in retail, but it can be used in service or in wholesale businesses as well, and it works well like the closed fax sale or the closed internet site sale. You could open up a website just for the sale, just to past customers. I started doing these closed door sales years ago with retailers when they'd buy too much stock, and we'd have to give it away basically. So I said, well, who's the best person to do a great deal for? And the best person is always your past customer, someone that's bought from you before in the past. So we'd close the sale to everyone but the past customers, and that's what you do. Then what we've got to look at on the top of that is more follow-up. Because far too often I find that repeat business doesn't happen just because there's no or very little follow-up. I call it call cycling, and it kind of works in the year where there's 26 letters, let's say for example in the alphabet, and 26 goes into 52 weeks, so it goes into that twice. So you can go through every letter of the alphabet twice a year. In other words, call all of your customers whose name starts with A 1 week, all the B's the following week, the C's the following week, and so on. You might do the X's and Z's in the same week, so probably not too many of those, if any, and then maybe that would just give you a holiday a week's holiday every 26 weeks or something along those lines. But the point behind it really is that you cycle through your database and make sure that you follow up everyone in that database at some point during the year. Follow-up to me is one of the most important things to do in the sales process. Most businesses are so bad at following up on their prospective customers that they wonder why they're not getting much business. Well, not only that, they're very bad following up on existing customers. And the stats have been bandied around, and I've never seen proof of it. I can't believe it's not real that most businesses spend 6 times more on getting a new customer than they do on getting a past customer to come back. Or the other stat that's bandied around is that it's 6 times harder to get a new customer than it is to get a past customer to come back. I don't care if it's 6, 7, 10, 15, 2, 5. We all know a past customer coming back is worth so much more than trying to go out and generate a totally new customer. So let's put proper focus on the follow-up in future. Okay. So the next point, informing your customers of your entire range. Look, if you've ever had a customer or a client say to you something along the lines of, "Oh, I never knew you sold that. I didn't know you could do that for us," then unfortunately you've left so much money on the table it's not funny. You've got to make sure that all customers know all the things that you sell, all the products and services you offer. Make sure they're all informed of the entire range of your products and services. When you do that, then and only then will you really start benefiting from a customer's repeat business, because they actually know what else they can buy from you until further notice deals or rebooking deals. I'll give you two examples of this. I remember one of my friends had a guy who was a tree trimmer, and he basically said to him, "So we'll come back every 3 months, trim the trees again, and make sure that you're there." And he said, "Yeah, that seems fine to me. Well, just drop the invoice. We'll drop the invoice in the letterbox for you when we come round, and we'll just do it." He thought, "Yep, that sounds fine. Would you like us to let you know when we're coming, or should we just turn up and do it every 3 months?" He said, "Well, yeah, just let me know, but just turn up. That's fine." And that's called an until further notice deal. You've got to be able to set those sort of things up with your customers where there's perpetuity or the ability to be perpetuity of purchase. So next then, rebooking. Rebooking, I've worked with loads and loads of hairdressers over the years, and the number one thing I've tried to teach them each time is how to rebook a customer right there and then, so that they book their next haircut when they're leaving the salon. And the number of businesses where they just don't do things like this is just crazy. You've really got to increase it. See, that took them from having people having haircuts every 6 weeks to every 4.5 weeks on average. So think about the number of transactions that increased for them during that year. Okay, then we've really got to look at this planning of future purchases. I look at printers and I think, God, they're really missing out. They're crazy. They know that you're going to run out of business cards, but they're not contacting you. They know that you're going to run out of stationery and stuff, but they're just not contacting you. So how can you plan future purchases with your customers? How can you look at it? How to, and help them make their purchase decisions in the future and plan it with them as to when they'll need to buy or how many they'll need to buy, and to make the decisions with them to help them with that. Okay, and finally, there's what I call a frequent flyer or VIP style program. Look at the businesses that don't do this. There's so many that still astounds me every day. But we've got to make sure that we've got something for our VIPs, our really good customers. We've got to make sure there's something. It isn't for everyone, but you could have a VIP program that's just for your top clients, customers. So you can have a frequent buyer program that starts at the bottom, but that's not a VIP program. But make sure that you're looking at the number of transactions in every possible way. Look, repeat business is the central core to profitability in a company. Getting the increase in your number of transactions starts with first knowing what the number of transactions per customers are per year, but ultimately our goal is to increase the repeat business dramatically in every company. And you can do it too. I'm Nick Ruddle, and these are the Profit Club Basics.